Something you long believed to be true but realized wasn't.
Well, as one of the main opponents of the Illuminati, I always wanted to know what information they had that we did.
Update on the drowning death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Now, according to ABC7, they stated that Malcolm-Jamal Warner had drowned while he was on vacation in Costa Rica. Now, the article goes on to say that Warner had drowned off the coast of Costa Rica on Sunday.
It's fragile, and in the blink of an eye,
you never know.
You never know. So speaking of legacy, what do you hope that your legacy is going to be?
Part of me that I will be able to leave this earth, knowing and people knowing that I was a good person.
Katt Williams been shouting this for years. If you don't play by Hollywood's rules, especially as a black man, they'll shove you right out the door. And when you look back at Malcolm-Jamal Warner's career, it starts clicking real fast. Malcolm didn't sell out. He didn't chase fake fame, didn't play the clown, and definitely didn't do the whole put on a dress and act goofy routine just to get a role. He stood his ground with dignity, and they punished him for it. Not because he lacked talent. Nah, the man had serious skills. But he refused to be a puppet, and that made him a problem for the gatekeepers. So they benched him, kept him in the shadows while less talented actors got pushed to the front just for doing whatever the system told them. Now that he's gone, suddenly everybody want to call him a legend. Celebs, media outlets, folks who ignored him for decades, now screaming he was underrated. But where was that energy when he needed it? Where was all that love when he was standing tall and doing it his way? This ain't about no wild conspiracy, it's about a pattern. And Katt Williams been warning us all along. Hollywood don't like it when you say no. Let's really break down what Katt Williams has been exposing, what Malcolm stood firm on, and why all this praise popped up after he was gone. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, forever known as Theo from The Cosby Show, tragically passed on July 20th, 2025. He was on a family trip down in Limon, Costa Rica, just out enjoying the ocean with his 8-year-old daughter. But that day turned deadly. They got caught in one of those brutal rip currents. This beach already had a bad rep for being dangerous. And that day, no lifeguards. None. Turns out the limited resources had been shifted to other areas after some recent incidents. No warning signs, no safety net, just vibes. Witnesses said surfers saw both Malcolm and his daughter fighting the current. One surfer managed to reach and save the little girl, while another paddled out to help Malcolm, but it was too late. By the time medics pulled up, Malcolm was unresponsive. They couldn't bring him back. His cause of death was ruled as asphyxia from drowning. And the surfer who tried to save him, he was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The official autopsy confirmed it was a tragic accident. But the timing, the silence before, that's what has people talking. What made Malcolm's passing hit so deep wasn't just the way he went out, it's who he was while he lived. He was one of the very few child stars in Hollywood who grew up without spiraling, without scandals, without selling out. Malcolm was a self-made multimillionaire, Emmy-nominated actor, Grammy-winning musician, respected poet, director, and a proud social activist. He wasn't out here chasing drama. He was happily married, never divorced, and raised his daughter with love and stability. No mess, no secret kids, no media circus, just a real one moving with purpose. And people in the industry, they love working with him. No ego, no nonsense, just straight respect. He lived the kind of life most folks dream of, clean, focused, and full of wins. But then, out of nowhere, a freak accident takes him out at 54 after decades of good health while on a dream vacation with his family. Man, it hurts. The only tragic part of Malcolm's life is that it ended too soon. But how he lived, that was legendary. Still, we gotta talk about how Hollywood turned its back on him while he was still here. That's where Katt Williams' message hits even harder. Malcolm didn't fall off, he walked away. He could have done cheesy sitcoms, slapstick roles, or played the fool for big checks, but he refused. He said no to the clown costumes, no to playing dumbed-down, stereotyped versions of black men. He didn't want a coon for cameras. He wanted to show something real. And that's exactly what Katt Williams been warning us about. In interviews, comedy specials, podcasts, he's been yelling that black entertainers get boxed in. And if they want to reach the top, they better stay in character or else. Katt Williams turned down those same clown roles. Suits, wigs, loud buffoonery, and Hollywood didn't like that one bit. They hit him with all the labels: difficult, crazy, unreliable, just because he wouldn't sell out. Same thing happened with Malcolm. He was sharp, talented, and disciplined, but he didn't fit the mold. And since he refused to coon for the camera, they benched him too. But here's the twist. Malcolm didn't need Hollywood. He was doing just fine carving out his own lane. He launched a podcast called Not All Hood, where he called out how Hollywood and mainstream media love painting black folks as if we're all one stereotype. He wasn't begging for a seat at their table, he was building his own. Instead of chasing blockbusters, Malcolm picked projects that mattered: social justice, education, real stories. He produced plays, acted in documentaries about black history, and exposed the truth about systemic racism. Back in 2021, he wrote a whole op-ed for the Television Academy, and he didn't hold back. Malcolm said flat out that the gatekeepers of black TV images are still white execs, white directors, and white writers. He explained how during the rare moments where black creatives are allowed in, it's just an illusion of control. Even when characters got good jobs or big houses, the same tired stereotypes were still baked in. And when it came to music, Malcolm wasn't quiet. He dragged modern rap culture for pushing misogyny and toxic masculinity, calling for more healing and accountability in the community. And yeah, it might sound bold, but that's just who he was. Last year, when that Kendrick versus Drake beef blew up online, Malcolm had plenty to say. He said the industry only seems to care about hip-hop when it's tied to negativity, fights, drama, or division. He wanted something deeper. So when Katt Williams says the industry only shows you love when they can control your story, this right here is exactly what he's talking about. Malcolm wasn't trying to be anyone's puppet. He wanted to show black men as smart, complex, and real. But people kept trying to box him in. Either stay the cute teen heartthrob from back in the day or go play the goofy sidekick. Malcolm wasn't with that. He turned down a lot of gigs. Yeah, they would have made him more famous. But at what cost? He chose respect over clout. At the same time, other black actors from his era were blowing up by doing the exact opposite. They leaned into the clown roles, said yes to anything with a check, and some of them got the fame. But that wasn't Malcolm's lane. He stuck to his values, and it cost him. In interviews, Malcolm even hinted that his own team told him he was too serious, not marketable enough. Translation: you're too black, too deep, and way too real. So the call stopped. They boxed him out. And guess what? That's exactly what Katt's been saying all along. If you don't play the fool or bow to the humiliation rituals, the industry acts like you don't exist. But now that Malcolm's gone, the same machine that ignored him is suddenly obsessed. Media tributes, trending hashtags, tearful celebrity posts, think pieces calling him a pioneer. But where was all this before? Back when he was alive and standing 10 toes down on his principles, the big platforms barely acknowledged him. The award shows skipped over him. Now, out of nowhere, streaming platforms are hyping unreleased projects, networks are planning tributes, and celebs are posting stories like they were best friends. It's wild. Overnight, Malcolm became the safe black icon for everyone to praise. But that's how the industry plays it. They won't uplift you while you're alive and real. They wait till it's too late, then flip your legacy into branding fuel for woke points and profit. And Katt, he called this years ago. The system only celebrates black excellence when they can own the narrative, when the person can't clap back no more. So now the real question, is this sudden love real? Or is it just Hollywood doing its usual post-tragedy cleanup routine? Because let's be honest, Malcolm's refusal to sell out is exactly what got him sidelined, not celebrated. He wasn't just another face in the spotlight. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was one of the very few who stayed grounded, sharp, and true to himself in an industry that rewards the opposite. While others chase clout, he chose purpose. And for that, he got overlooked, ignored, and pushed to the side. Until now. His passing ain't just sad, it's a harsh wake-up call. It shows how rare it really is to see somebody walk with real integrity in Hollywood and not fold under pressure. He moved with principle in a world that runs on fakery, and that's why he stood out. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Malcolm. This is a pattern that's been hitting black entertainers for decades. Think about how many black actors, comedians, and musicians have gone quiet. Not because they ran out of talent, but because they refused to play the industry's dirty little game. The moment they speak up, call out hypocrisy, or demand better roles, boom, they get labeled difficult or hard to work with. Sound familiar? Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million for a reason. Monique got blackballed for asking for fair pay. Lauryn Hill vanished after going against the grain. And now Malcolm-Jamal Warner, another one added to the list of those who stood tall and got iced out. It's like the industry only wants black excellence when it's quiet, controlled, and smiling on cue. But the second it gets bold, thoughtful, or disruptive, they ghost you. Malcolm wasn't trying to be a rebel. He was just trying to be real. And for that, he was branded too serious, too righteous, too much of a risk. But what's the real risk here? Speaking truth? Or letting this broken system keep cycling unchecked? Because this ain't just one story, it's a pattern. And people are starting to notice. And here's the cold part. They always act like we're imagining things. Like these stories of erasure, blackballing, and silent punishment are just bitterness or conspiracy. But the receipts keep stacking up. Hollywood's got a playbook. They love a safe black face, someone who will smile, play the role, keep it light, and never challenge the system. The moment you step outside that box, it's Rap City. No more roles, no more interviews, no more invites. Malcolm wasn't trying to be Hollywood's favorite. He was trying to be honest. And honesty makes the machine uncomfortable. He didn't try to be the loudest in the room. He just stayed solid, smart, and focused on legacy over likes. And that's what made him dangerous to the system. Now, years later, they're using his image to push the same narratives he fought against, posting quotes like they celebrated him all along. But where were they when he was out here funding indie projects, uplifting real voices, and demanding change? This is why voices like Katt Williams matter. He's loud, but he ain't lying. He's been clowning the whole setup for years, pointing at the gatekeepers, the fake tributes, the support that only shows up after death. And now the world's finally catching up to what he's been screaming since day one. What's even wilder? The same industry that ignored Malcolm while he was alive is now scrambling to make him part of their brand image. Streaming platforms got tribute banners. Networks got retrospective specials lined up. Celebs who never mentioned him before are suddenly posting long captions like they were best friends. But none of this happened when Malcolm needed support to keep building. Where were those cameras when he was grinding on small stages, producing his own work, mentoring younger talent, and calling out industry trash for what it really is? Crickets! Now that he's gone, they're trying to clean it up and make themselves look progressive. That's what Katt Williams has been warning about forever. Hollywood don't want to support black truth tellers in real time. They want to wait until it's safe, silence is guaranteed, and the image can be repackaged for views and profit. Malcolm earned his respect while alive, but they just didn't want to give it to him. So now they're rewriting the story, polishing his legacy, and acting like they always had his back. But we remember how they treated him when he stood tall. Don't let the tribute clips fool you. This isn't justice, it's damage control, and folks are finally waking up to the game. Malcolm-Jamal Warner didn't chase approval. He earned respect the hard way. Not with headlines, not with Hollywood deals, but with real moves, real values, and real purpose. He didn't play the fool to get ahead. He walked with integrity, and that scared the system. Now they want to rewrite his story, dress it up, and act like they always stood by him? Nah. We see through it. The same industry that boxed him out now wants to profit off his memory. And Katt Williams, he been told us this would happen. Loud, unfiltered, and unapologetic. He laid the blueprint for how the game treats those who won't play puppet. So here's the takeaway. Don't wait for the industry to validate greatness. Recognize it now. Give flowers to the ones who stand tall while they're still breathing. Malcolm's legacy wasn't built on hype. It was built on heart. And no PR rollout can fake that. If you felt this breakdown, if you see what's happening beneath the surface, you're already part of the shift. Tap in with BarzBuzz for more unfiltered truth, real talk, and deep dives the mainstream won't touch. Like, comment, share, and subscribe because this convo ain't over, not by a long shot.